I forgot to take it off my shelf. And frankly, I don't really feel like getting up again. It made me very happy. And then it will be over. No. I'm very... Oh my god, sorry Evelyn. I just felt like chilling on the sofa today. So I'm going to be doing my wrap up whilst just lying here with Evelyn Hugo. She's not doing fine. Like, not at all. I don't know what's happening. Sorry, Evelyn. But in this video, I'm going to be talking about my May and June reading wrap up. I don't know what this fringe situation is right now, but gravity is doing its job. Before we continue with the rest of this video, I'm so happy to announce this very fun collaboration that I'm currently doing with glassesusa.com. As you can see, I'm wearing these really pretty glasses, and glassesusa.com is an online glasses company, and because they cut out the middleman, they can create really affordable glasses with prescription or no prescription or sunglasses for up to 70% of their retail price. So you can just do all of your glasses shopping and sunglasses shopping online, easy from your couch, no need to leave your house. They have over 9,000 different styles on their website. I picked 4 amazing pairs, so let's take a look. First of all, this really cool transparent pink. It's really light pink, and these ones are prescription, and the best thing is they have like blue light blocking lenses, so at night I can just go on my phone before I go to bed, and these glasses make sure that the blue light doesn't affect my sleep and it doesn't make me all hyper. So these are definitely my favorite ones. They're so comfortable as well. The next ones are also prescription glasses, and look how cool this shape is. They have this really cool like geometric shape. Yes, love them. And next I also picked out 2 pairs of sunglasses. These ones have prescription in them, so if I am not wearing my contacts, I can still, you know, go outside wearing these amazing sunglasses. I think they're so fabulous. And then the last pair of sunglasses are these ones. They don't have prescription in them, but I've been watching a lot of Sex and the City lately, and Carrie's always wearing these aviators, so I thought, I want a pair of aviators as well. So this is the 4th pair. And the best thing is that the prices for both sunglasses and normal glasses with prescription lenses in there start at $30, so they're super affordable. And shopping at glassesusa.com is also completely risk-free. The shipping and returns are free. You get a 365-day warranty, and there is also a 100% money-back guarantee should anything be wrong with your glasses. And lastly, a very fun thing is that they launched their eco-conscious collection, and these glasses are made from like upcycled materials, but also really interesting materials from nature, like hemp or coffee. So if you want to check out one of these glasses that I'm wearing right now, or just many more of the 9,000 different styles that they have on their website, don't forget to check out the link in my description. I also don't know if this looks really weird for you, just like seeing me horizontally. But let's take a look at the books that I read in May first. Oh wait, I do have some stats. I wrote them on my little notepad. So in May and June in total, I read 10 books. 4 of them were adult books, 3 of them were young adult books, and 3 of them were middle grade books. In total, I read 1,382 pages, and I listened to 53 hours worth of audiobook. In May, I read like 8 books, and then in June, I read only 2. And the last one I finished on like the 7th of June, and then my reading slump appeared. But I'm out of it now. But let's take a look at the first book. The first one is called Destined, written by Alison Croft, and this is a Titanic retelling that is about vampires. Yes? Yes. I read this for like a Titanic themed reading vlog, and it was actually really fun. So you follow this girl who suddenly goes back in time. She's like really obsessed with Titanic in the same way that I'm obsessed with Titanic, like the original event that happened as well as like the film, and suddenly she's being transported back in time to the actual Titanic. But the thing is, she is a vampire hunter, and she's transported back to kill a vampire. So this was all about vampire hunters and Titanic, and her being completely like mesmerized by the fact that she is walking on the actual Titanic, which is beautiful and interesting at the same time. It's super scary because she knows what's going to happen. I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was actually really fun and just a very enjoyable YA read. So I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The next one I read, I have it right here, is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. And this book is like a dark academia story. We follow a main character, here she is, and suddenly she witnesses this very magical thing, and she discovers that there is like magic in the world. She learns about the Legendborn, and she learns about demons, and just a lot of magical things are happening that she did not know of beforehand. I listened to this on audiobook, and that was not the best move because the audiobook was so long, and I have to say I forgot a lot about this book. The fact that I didn't remember much of it is not an amazing sign. One thing that was really cool about this book though, it was also about like King Arthur and Arthur's seat and stuff, and the round table with knights, so that was really cool. But apart from that, I can't really remember much about this book. Next up, I have this book on my shelf. I forgot to take it off my shelf, and frankly I don't really feel like getting up again, so here's the book. It is called The Radium Girls, and this is a non-fiction book which is all about the women who used to work in factories, like watch factories, where they used radium paint to dial, or like to paint the dials of watches so they could kind of like glow in the dark. And the focus of this book is on the radium poisoning that these women got, because radium is incredibly toxic, and people behind the scenes of the factories, some of them knew, but they still kind of sacrificed their workers because they made a lot of money, and they knew that it was super bad for them. And this book was all about how these women fought for justice, and they went to court and they wanted justice because, you know, these factory owners played with their lives. This was very sickening. It made me so angry, and it was just, you know, I hate injustice so much. But it was also very just interesting and fascinating as well. So yeah, it's quite gruesome because they're talking a lot about the radium poisoning, but it was just so interesting. I highly recommend that one. I think I gave this like 4.5 out of 5 stars. Next up, I listened to a Dutch book called The Hells van Oer. This is like a middle grade fantasy story where this guy, like this teenage boy, goes to this magical land, and he had to convince all of the magical creatures that humans aren't bad, because the magical creatures in that magical land, they think that humans, you know, cause all of the just shite that is happening in that country. But our main character has to kind of, you know, convince them that they're okay, and he is their hero because he makes peace in the land. It was very fun and quick, but not very deep. It was incredibly simple. So I think I gave it like 2.5 out of 5 stars. Then I listened to The Lost Apothecary. I listened to this on audiobook. The audiobook was so great. And this is about a woman who goes to London, and she suddenly finds something that has to do with this apothecary from a long, long time ago. I believe like 18th century. And in that apothecary, women came to get little bottles of poison to poison their husbands if they like mistreated them. And we follow this story in like present day as well as, you know, back then when the apothecary was still happening. This was a very interesting one, and what I really liked about this was, you know, how much they talked about London from hundreds of years ago. And I really recognized a few like streets that they mentioned, and I thought that that was really cool. But I was just kind of missing something. I didn't really enjoy the ending too much. I wasn't too impressed. So I think I gave this one like 3.5 out of 5 stars. Then I listened to Once Upon an Eid, and this is a little short story collection, middle grade short story collection, all about the holiday of Eid. And I didn't know much about the holiday of Eid before reading this, but now I know a lot more about it, and all the short stories were, I believe, narrated by the writers as well. It was so wholesome, and all of the stories made me so happy and made my heart just burst. So if you want to know more about the holiday of Eid and what it stands for and how people celebrate it, and just reading a very wholesome story, all of the short stories were super short as well. It was just brilliant. I absolutely loved it, and I think I listened to it in like a day or two. It made me very happy. Then next up, I buddy read The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. I buddy read this with my friend Sabine over at Sabine's Book Nook, and this is all about twins, and they grew up together, but then later on in life they kind of, you know, part ways. And one of them lives in an area with a lot of black people, whereas the other one passes for white, living in a very white neighborhood. And this is very much about racial identities and how it can differ a lot based on where you live. And this was a very interesting and beautiful story. It was sad as well and just very fascinating. I learned a lot about it. I was missing something in the end. A lot of people gave this 5 stars. I think I will give it like 4, maybe 4.5 out of 5 stars. I was just missing something, but it was very, very interesting. And I think it's important that we read a lot about these topics, because the writer also talks a lot about racism, and I think it's just so important that we learn a lot more about that. So this was a very great one, and I'm so happy I finally read it. Then next I read The House in the Cerulean Sea by Teji Klune, and this is about Linus Baker, and he kind of works at this company that checks on orphanages where kids live, you know, to see if they're still okay. And he goes to this orphanage where there are a lot of medical kids, and it's basically about him getting to know these kids and making sure that they're okay. And this was a very wholesome story. I think the characters were just brilliant. I loved all of the kids. I listened to this on audiobook, and I really liked the way that all the kids were narrated, and they had such beautiful personalities and so different, and every kid was so unique, and they kind of had these like magical powers, which was really cool. Some of them could like transfigure into an animal or something like that. So all these really magical kids. I did kind of, you know, saw the ending coming, and I wasn't too too impressed, and I was also kind of just waiting for something, or just like I wanted some more to happen in the plot. So I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars, but I thought it was very beautiful, and I could definitely get why so many people love it. Then the next book I read was Heartstopper Volume 4 by Alice Oseman. Oh, I love these books so much. So this is the 4th installment in the Heartstopper graphic novel series, which follows Nick and Charlie, and it is just the most wholesome story. It's full of representation. There are so many LGBTQIA+ characters. We learn so much about the LGBTQIA+ community, and just, I absolutely love all of these books so much. I can't really pick a favorite. I think this one was just so brilliant as well, and I think I gave it like 4.5 out of 5 stars, maybe 5. It was just brilliant. I read it in like an hour or so. And the illustration style is just so cute as well. And I can't believe that there will only be one more volume, and then it will be over. No. And we're already down to the last book. Whoa, this is a very quick wrap up. But I also, like, I talk about all my books a lot in my reading vlogs as well. So this is just like a quick wrap up of everything that I read. And then the last book I read is called What the Heck? And it is an audiobook. Actually, I listened to the audiobook. It is Dutch, but it's basically about this boy who is basically this middle grade that is all about hacking on computers and like cyber criminals, and how we have to be super careful for our online, you know, presence, and just keeping everything safe on your computer. So we follow this boy who gets hacked, and his laptop gets hacked, and he wants to kind of take revenge. So he wants to teach all of his classmates about cyber criminals and how they can keep their own, you know, files safe. I learned so much about this book, even though the book itself, like, it's written as a fictional story. I think to just make it a bit more tense and thrilling, but it was just very simple, and the bit, like, the kids were super naive. They did some stupid things, and their decisions weren't the smartest, but I think, you know, that had to happen in order for the story to get forward. But I learned a lot about cyber criminals and how they work and what they do and how you should keep your files safe. So after I finished the book, I immediately like changed a lot of my passwords and just, you know, kept my laptop very safe, hopefully. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by this book. I think I gave it like 3 out of 5 stars. Okay, so these were all of the books that I read in May and June. I am out of my reading slump. I finished a book today, and I'm just so excited about it. And I really hope you liked this very quick May and June wrap up. I'm very, oh my god, sorry Evelyn. I am very comfortable. I think I'm just gonna stay here. I really hope you liked this video. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to comment something but you don't know what to comment, comment a plant emoji. You can just pick whichever plant you want, but I like plants. Again, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you're having a beautiful day, and I will hopefully see you in my next video. Bye.